It's no surprise Solana has been taking the brunt of the fallout from the disgraced FTX and Alameda Research bankruptcies. Solana and the Solana Foundation were both intertwined rather tightly with FTX and Alameda, even to the point where SBF was defending the price of Sol publicly on Twitter. As we know, that didn't end well for him. Solana has since lost its title as a top 10 crypto by market cap and has seen its price collapse into the $12 range. Of course, there is no denying the direct technical implications that the FTX Alameda bankruptcies will have on Sol and the Solana Foundation, but even worse may be the tarnished reputation Solana now has after being so closely affiliated with SBF. Despite all of this, I still think a full recovery is possible for Solana over the long haul, and according to Toli, they have 30 months of cash burn to figure it out. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a great day. Thank you for being here. Please hit that like and subscribe on the way in. It really helps support the channel. Today, we are going to be discussing Solana. It has been beaten down since the FTX Alameda collapse. Solana itself has been very closely related with not only FTX and Alameda, but the CEO, SBF himself.
Right to jail, right away.
Now, we will cover a lot of the measurables that impact Solana, including how much Solana was actually on FTX, how many of Solana and Solana Foundation assets were on the exchange. Those are easy to tell. They are measurable. However, what I think is even worse than that are the immeasurable things, perhaps the Solana goodwill that has been lost, the reputation of Solana that is now tarnished or partially tarnished by being so closely related to SBF and FTX. Now, of course, this is a huge concern for everybody in the Solana ecosystem. Of course, also for people in the Helium community, as Helium is moving to Solana as the L1, scheduled for Q1 of this year. So the question on everyone's mind is Solana going to make a recovery? Will it be a full recovery? How are things going to turn out for Solana over the long haul? We're going to go through all of that and a little bit more throughout this video. Now, first, let's take a look at the Solana chart. This collapse right here is really a representation of the severity of what happened as FTX and Alameda were collapsing and announcing the bankruptcy. Now, as we can see, this target here was hit around the $15 range, which was a measurable move from the beginning of this wedge here. As you can see, we came and collapsed all the way down into this box right here, which in fact was a critical level that was formed all the way back here in March of 2021 by the low of this accumulation zone here. Of course, below this area right here, we're going to end up looking at $10, which honestly, if there's a lick of bad news again, it is very likely that Solana heads straight to that $10 range and likely will touch it just as it did this area here. But the technical price analysis here is for a later video. Let's look at how Solana has been performing amongst its peers. As we mentioned in the intro, Solana is now ranked number 14, previously being in the top 10, currently down almost 21% over the past 7 days. A tremendous hit on market cap and rank here for Solana, which is to be expected when you were so closely related to this collapse of one of the largest exchanges in crypto. Now, to get an idea of how bad this actually is,
how bad?
From a measurement perspective, and by that I mean things that we can look at and measure and quantify, we come over here to this Solana blog post that has been constantly updated since it was released about a week or two ago. It outlines very clearly everything from cash and investments to purchases of Solana and FTT between the Solana ecosystem and the FTX ecosystem. As we can see here, the Solana Foundation had 1 million in cash or cash equivalents on FTX.com as of November 6th, when FTX.com ceased to process withdrawals. They do note this is less than 1% of Solana's cash or cash equivalents, and as such, the impact on the Solana Foundation operations is negligible. And they do clarify the Solana Foundation had no Sol custodied on FTX.com. Now, that is not bad at all. However, it gets a lot worse. The Solana Foundation asset exposure to FTX and Alameda. As of November 14th, the Solana Foundation has exposure to the below assets. These assets were held on FTX.com accounts as of 11/6 when FTX.com ceased to process withdrawals. Approximately 3.24 million shares of FTX Trading Ltd common stock, 3.4 million shares of FTT tokens, and approximately 134.54 million SRM tokens. So those are pretty big numbers. That is a pretty significant amount of exposure that the Solana Foundation had to the FTX Alameda collapse. Now, it's not a catastrophic amount, but it is certainly a lot. It is not negligible like we saw up here with the cash balance sheet exposure.
But wait, there's more.
However, a little bit farther down, and it does get much worse, Solana Foundation transactions with FTX and Alameda. FTX Alameda first purchased SOL from Solana Foundation in August of 2020, 6 months later after the mainnet beta launched. Below is a summary of Solana Foundation's SOL sales to FTX Alameda. So these are sales of Solana from the Solana Foundation to FTX. As we can see here, here is the first transaction, 4 million SOL, the second transaction, 12 million SOL, and the final transaction, the largest by far, almost 35 million Solana. As we can see, there is an unlock schedule here for each of these, but that is a tremendous amount of Solana that FTX Alameda purchased from the Solana Foundation. Down a little bit lower, this is Solana Labs transactions, which is separate from Solana Foundation transactions with FTX Alameda. There are two transactions here, one in the beginning of 2021 for 7.5 million SOL, and a much smaller one in May of 2021 for 61,000 SOL. And again, more unlock schedules here. And as you can see, they make it very clear down here because this is really what everyone is concerned about with how all of this Solana that was purchased and on their balance sheet, how it is going to be treated. And they say, in light of the voluntary Chapter 11 bankruptcy proceedings that FTX Alameda announced on November 11th, we do not know how these and other FTX Alameda assets will be settled in the aftermath of the Chapter 11 proceeding. Now they go on to elaborate a little bit farther into other aspects of the relationship and how they apply to the bankruptcy proceedings. We're not going to cover these in detail. I will link this down below if you guys are interested, but there are even further implications here that should be considered. Now, even more measurable things that we can look at and identify as being objectively bad for Solana. Right here on DeFi Llama, we can see the total value locked of Solana has deteriorated from over 10 billion about a year ago now to just 311 million today. That is a tremendous collapse in the TVL here for Solana. Now, this is a very significant number here and a very important measurable for Solana. CoinDesk here does a good job of explaining how it goes from 10 billion to just over 300 million as of recently, and they explain how the Solana Foundation itself has lost tens of millions. Now, that is the extent of the measurables that I think are significant. Apart from that, we also have things like this. As we can see, January of 2021, SBF on Twitter replying to Coin Mamba, "I'll buy as much SOL as you have right now at $3. Sell me all you want, then go F off." Now, that of course ended poorly for SBF. Coin Mamba did get his revenge here with a nice little glimpse of SBF effectively being worth $0 and going completely bankrupt and causing one of the worst collapses crypto has ever seen. Now, I think that last piece there, which is the immeasurable, is the most significant impact that this whole situation can have on Solana. Your reputation in crypto and the trust and faith that people have in a particular project or platform is really invaluable. And having SBF now being completely banished from crypto and hopefully ends up in jail, having him being so closely related to Sol and Solana is not a good look for Solana, and it will take a lot of hard work and trust building and goodwill accumulation to really distance itself from FTX and SBF. Now, despite all of this that has been going on, the measurables, the immeasurables, all of that, we do have to think that there certainly is a path for Solana to recover from all of this turmoil that they're currently swimming through. And of course, Toli, one of the founders of Solana, is very aware that this is having a severe impact on their ecosystem And he very quickly on November 9th goes to say that Solana Labs, a US corp, didn't have any assets on FTX.com, so we still have tons of runway and luckily still a small team. He goes on to elaborate, runway is approximately 30 months in terms of dollars at current burn. Learned our lessons in 2018. Now, to be completely fair and transparent, I am pretty new to this guy and Solana. I wouldn't trust these people as far as I can throw them, unlike how I am pretty familiar with the Helium ecosystem and the leadership over there. So I hope that this guy is being genuine, but as we can see here in crypto, things can be sunshine and rainbows one day and total collapse and catastrophe the next. So I would take this with a grain of salt. However, I hope this is true, and I hope that they have learned lessons not only from maybe themselves back in 2018, but of course from other projects and companies in the crypto space and even outside of the crypto space over time. But it is a good sign that he is out here showing his awareness of the possibility that people could completely abandon Solana. So that is certainly a good thing. And there are a lot of other very good things that are in Solana's favor, which I think will likely lead to them making a full recovery from all of this. Now, apart from Solana really buckling down and focusing on keeping the chain online, there has been a number of headlines that are very positive for Solana and the entire ecosystem. They have tons of developers dedicated to building on their platform. They have a Google partnership that was recently announced. Of course, the smartphone that is coming next year, Web3 store, and a few other very big things that were announced at Breakpoint. And of course, what they might be most notably known for over the past year or so, especially throughout the NFT boom, is they do have the second largest NFT marketplace by volume. Now, of course, right now, NFTs are practically worthless, but we are still in the very early innings of crypto and NFTs. So the fact that they are building this foundation is very, very positive. And of course, the NFT market, although I am not particularly fond of it, I'm sure it will make a full recovery one day as things do pick up again after this entire crypto winter is behind us. So despite all of the measurables that are incredibly bad here for Solana, and even including the immeasurables such as goodwill and reputation, I do think Solana has the ability to make a full recovery. And quite frankly, I am rooting for them as Helium is moving there. And I really do hope that their leadership can distance themselves from the FTX and Alameda collapse and debacle and prove that their integrity is far greater than what we saw from FTX and Alameda recently. But guys, let me know what you think. Let me know if you are interested in more Solana videos, as it is now becoming more and more relevant to the Helium ecosystem. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for watching until the end. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. But just like that, this video is over and I will see you